All right, welcome back to a brand new video. It has been a little bit since I've actually just vlogged a day of training since Ironman prep. So this video is announcing powerlifting prep. This is the last task of my hybrid athlete challenge, and I'm going to get fat and strong over the next 3.5 months, all the way into December when I'm going to compete in a powerlifting meet. I haven't actually found a meet yet. That's been a little bit of a task. I'm going to talk about that later in a video. I might have to do that on my own as well, but we'll see. So I'm going to go get a haircut right now, and then we're going to go to the gym, and I'm going to break down exactly what my plan is for my entire powerlifting prep later on in the video. But I'm going to show you what a session looks like right now as I switch gears from Ironman training into powerlifting. Okay, we are fresh. There is no better feeling than getting a fresh haircut. You guys have heard me talk about it so many times. It's time to go lift. Today we are doing all 3 exercises, so squat, bench, and deadlift, and I'm going to be doing that every training day for the first block of powerlifting. So it might seem backwards to what you would see in a lot of programs, but hear me out. I'm going to talk about it later on in this video. Pretty high frequency program, and there is a good reason for that. But let's go inside. It is time to train. All right, as you guys know, I'm into powerlifting prep. As you guys would have seen earlier on in this video, Ironman prep is done, and now I have to complete the last challenge of my hybrid athlete challenge, which is a powerlifting meet in December. So I'm gonna break down kind of what my plan is, and it's something that is a little bit unorthodox to what I would recommend for like a lot of strength related programs, but I think it's starting to change my perspective. So if you guys are familiar with Greg Nuckols, he's kind of a legend in the exercise science world, super strong guy, has programmed tons of people to really impressive lifts, and he runs Stronger by Science, and he had a great podcast, all kinds of, check him out, his stuff is great. Years ago, I'm not sure how many years ago, he wrote an article about like high frequency powerlifting training. I think the article was like unlocking your natural potential or something like that. Basically, he wrote a program that was very high frequency squat, bench, and deadlift. So you are doing squat, bench, and deadlift every day, which isn't typical for a lot of powerlifting programs. Usually you would only do like 2 out of the 3 in one day, or maybe even just 1 sometimes, but typically 2. Because doing that many lifts each day, especially if you're doing higher intensity, is quite hard on the body and the central nervous system. But for me right now, when I finished Ironman prep, I remembered that article because I haven't been able to do tons of squat, bench, and deadlift over the last like year. So I gravitated towards that model so that I could just get the patterning down and just get lots of reps in with those exercises. And a lot of strength is especially with squat, bench, and deadlift, is your skill development. So how good you are at those lifts and how proficient you are, and your nervous system's ability to pattern those movements efficiently. For me, I didn't have a lot of time under the bar and doing kind of these exercises. As much as I've done them a lot in the past, I started this high frequency program and it's been really good for me. So I'm gonna break down kind of what it is. Basically, I'm gonna train 4 days a week. In the article, he talks about 5 days a week. I know for me, that's probably a little bit too much because I'm also going to be running, which I'll explain after. So basically it's 4 days a week and I'm doing squat, bench, and deadlift every day, every training day, and then like 2 or 3 accessories, but nothing too crazy. I'm keeping the accessories pretty moderate because I don't want to fry myself, and I'm only doing this for the first week of, the first month of powerlifting prep. So I'm going to be doing this for the first month, and then I'll change to a conjugate method, and I will not be doing every modality in each day. I'll still be training 4 days a week, and I'll talk about that program change when I get there. But for this first month, I'm going to be doing squat, bench, and deadlift every day, and I've actually really enjoyed it so far. I feel so much more proficient on all the exercises already, and my body isn't fried because I'm keeping intensity and volume pretty low. So it's not like I'm hitting heavy singles or anything like that. The highest percentage I'm working at is 85%, and I'm only doing singles when I'm at 85%. And what it's done has really just gotten me comfortable under the bar again. I'm able to accumulate a lot of reps throughout the week as a whole, but not like a ton of reps in volume per session. So it's really nice. It keeps me fresh while getting me way more comfortable with the movements, and I think it's going to be a really good preparation phase coming into October when I move into like full conjugate powerlifting prep, and then we'll see how strong I can really get because I'll increase my numbers. I set my 1RMs for this first block pretty low. I think my squat is set around 365, my deadlift is set around 455, and my bench is set at 250. My all-time best lifts are 505 deadlift, 425 squat, and a 285 bench. So my goals for powerlifting is just to beat those numbers. That would be like a huge win. If I could hit PRs on everything, I'd be stoked. That would be amazing. Again, it's a little bit of a tight timeline. Like I only really have like 3.5 months to get there, but I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna document the whole thing, but that's kind of my plan right now is first month, really high frequency, low volume, low intensity, and then moving into a more typical powerlifting program, and then running. I'm also gonna be running twice a week because I have another goal in the spring that I'm gonna share later on and let you guys know when that prep starts. So, and that's gonna be an endurance-based event with running. So I'm sure you guys can kind of figure out what it's gonna be, but I'm gonna be doing that, so I need to maintain my running capacity. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a track workout earlier on in the week, and then a long run later on in the week. So I'm getting both energy systems. I have more anaerobic work, and then I have a longer aerobic session, which is gonna really help me with some goals that I have later on down the road, which I'm gonna talk about later on. But having both those running sessions is gonna be really nice, and it's not gonna be so overly taxing compared to trying to swim and bike and run and do stuff like that. I also mountain bike a lot. You guys have seen that on the channel. So that's a more of a leisure thing for me. So I'll have mountain bike rides thrown in there, snowboarding, like all of my external hobbies that I just like to do. That will also be done throughout the winter, but shouldn't have too much of an impact on training for the most part. So yeah, that's kind of my plan for powerlifting. I'm gonna document the whole thing. I'm gonna show you guys how I'm getting stronger and what I'm doing to get stronger. And really the goal this winter is just build as much muscle as I can, get as strong as I can, and finish my hybrid athlete challenge coming up in December. It's crazy. Like I feels like I set all these goals just yesterday, but now we're like on the last goal. We've already completed bodybuilding and Ironman. So it's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I had like a little bit of an injury this week, nothing too crazy, just kind of tweaked like intercostal diaphragm somewhere in there, but largely we're staying healthy. So it's kind of a miracle I haven't had more issues with how much demand I've put on my body this year. But that's the plan for powerlifting prep. The next video, I'm gonna take you through a full week of powerlifting and running, so you guys can kind of see like in real time what that looks like. But yeah, thanks for watching, stay in the work, and I'll see you in the next one.